When we have been trying to reduce our spending, we don't just start cutting costs on everything like some sort of maniacs. You have to look at your transactions and see what are the big ticket items. That's what we did, and there was definitely just 3 bullets that really made a huge impact for us. It was clothing, food, and furniture. Let's get to it. So, just a bit of context. We are a family of 4 with 2 kids, both under the age of 4. Your situation may vary, but I hope there will be some tips in this video that can help you out. So, for clothing in the past, we realized we spent a huge amount of money on clothing, and we actually didn't sacrifice anything when we went and cut our clothing spending. What we did was to go through our closets and look and see, what are we not really using, and then we got rid of that stuff. It was a huge sort of mental load every time, every morning you had to pick out clothes for the day. By just pruning your closet, you can free up a lot of mental headspace. In exchange, we had a look at what clothing did we really like to wear, and we actually upped our spending in those categories, and then we bought higher quality stuff instead. Just doing this actually cut the costs of clothing significantly, but we also just have nicer stuff that we enjoy wearing. So that is definitely something I can highly recommend. For the kids, maybe it's a bit different story, a bit more simple actually. They are so small right now, these little munchkins, that they just, grow and grow really, really fast. So clothing doesn't really get worn out. So actually from day one with those, we have bought used clothing primarily, and only things that are really not used is if we haven't been able to find it in a reused store, then we might have bought something, or if we've gotten something from presents. That's also fine. But I'm sure when we get to a stage where they're a bit older, we'll have to see how we tackle that at that point. But let that be a problem for later. If we have a look at food, the big shift there was actually when we became parents. Before that, I feel we had our food spending under control. We made dinners ourselves, but as small munchkins came along, we didn't really feel we had the time for it. We looked at our habits there, and the times we bought fast food, was this sort of last resort when we felt we didn't really have the mental capacity, the energy to make food. But it was also because we hadn't bought groceries or had planning it already. So when we stepped down on every Sunday, we made a meal plan and we made sure to buy groceries for the week. Maybe also thinking about when you make meals to have it for a few days, think of if you can freeze some of the food. That sort of thing made a significant impact for us. Furthermore, we tend to stick to a few known, tried and true recipes that work for us, that we really enjoy eating. So we've also really simplified the meal plan, and therefore we avoid a lot of food waste in the process as well. So that's all good things. And there's different ways you can go about making food and what to eat. I would say a bit more, we are generalists in a way. So, there's potatoes, pasta, meat. We make sure to get our vegetables, and we make sure to get a bit of whole wheat or do that and bake our own things. All different stuff like that also improves our health in the process, because we have cut out fast food for the most part. Maybe we order sushi 3 or 4 times a year, but that's about it really. And actually what we saw there with the food expenses, that we managed to actually cut our spending in half which I found really, really significant just by systematizing it a bit more. And it feels good that we don't throw out, food, and we're not buying all that fast food. For furniture, we actually didn't have a high frequency of purchases here. It was just that we bought a few ticket items very expensively. What really worked for us there was just very simple. Look at something like Facebook Marketplace. Can you buy something used there? Maybe it doesn't entirely fit your style, but you can do things to alter it a bit. For example, we had a plate rack we really wanted in the kitchen. We found one in a reuse store, and then we just painted it white, and then it's as good as new, and we can put it up. So that's worth considering, I find, when you are looking at furniture. Furthermore, for the kids, there'll come more things over time. One thing we really wanted to give them was a swing set. You can buy, there's all different types of swing sets you can buy pre-made. Fair enough, you can do that, all good. But for us, we decided to build our own swing set instead. Just, a couple pieces of wood and a little metal rod, and, put that into the ground. I've actually made a little video of that, which you can see here. Anyway, just some examples. It's something that doesn't only cut costs, but it will also make things more easy for you to do in the future, right? Like, you get practice doing these sorts of things. Anyway, the takeaway message here is to look at your own transactions, see what's the big categories for you, and then make the change. It can be really simple, and just follow, common sense principles, and you can make it happen. And that was the same thing we did. Like, it's not rocket science, this thing. I think there's a lot of advice out there about how to do this and that, all different hyped up stuff. But I think if you just follow your common sense and try to make one change at a time, that can really help as well. I would say don't just push broadly at everything all at once. We've tried that in the past, and then you try it for a week or two. It doesn't work. But if you stick to one thing at a time until it becomes really a habit, then you're golden. And then you can make the next change and the next change, and so on and so forth, until you are happy with your spending, your habits. It really goes for everything you do in life. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.